The NFL world got updated on Lamar Jackson's injury from the Baltimore Sun's Brian Wacker. Let's read it. It says, Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is likely to sit Sunday's game against the Houston Texans and could miss 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring injury, sources said. So, we of course won't know his official status until the Baltimore Ravens get through this week of practice, but most of us are not expecting him to play in this Texans game, and most of us are not even expecting him to play in the Rams game. But while this news does suck, it is not the worst news. It is not the end-all, be-all, because it doesn't say Lamar Jackson's out for the year. It says that he'll expected to be out for the next 2 to 3 weeks, so he could return. And with the Baltimore Ravens, when you look at their schedule, now, you're going against the Texans, and they are also a bad team. Now, again, it takes one to know one, because we're also a bad team. But that's a winnable game. If the Baltimore Ravens can go into the bye week, I would love to see them 3-3. I think if Lamar Jackson plays in the Rams game, it's possible. But if he doesn't play, then they're most likely to go into the bye week sitting at 2-4, possibly even 1-5. But I think 2-4. But if you can get there, and then Lamar Jackson comes back after the bye week, when you look at the Baltimore Ravens schedule, you see games against the Bears, winnable games. And I know the Baltimore Ravens are the Baltimore Ravens, but you go against the Bears, the Dolphins, the Vikings. It could be a tough one. The Browns again, the Jets, the Bengals without Joe Burrow, the Steelers. If Ravens are rolling, then yeah, they can man up with the Steelers too. The Bengals again, the Patriots, and then the Packers, and then the Steelers. So your schedule to end out this season, it is very favorable. I know a lot of y'all like, hey, let's just tank. Let's just get a high draft pick. We could get one of the top prospects in the draft. Not me. I want the Baltimore Ravens in the playoffs. I want to see the Baltimore Ravens have success. I want to see them come back this season with a vengeance. I know it's asking for a lot, especially from the product that we've seen to this point of the season. But it is still doable. But how would it be doable? Well, the Baltimore Ravens would have to implement a lot of changes that a lot of fans at the end of the bar have been talking about for a long time. Let's start with the offensive line. This offseason, and previous offseasons too, but certainly this offseason, so many Ravens fans were like, hey, we need a better offensive line. Hey, we need to invest more in the offensive line. Hey, we need to upgrade this offensive line. EDC, if you hear me, please, we need to build a wall around Lamar Jackson. We need to stop just simply relying on his athletic ability to enhance his offensive line. Instead, allow this offensive line to enhance him. What did the Baltimore Ravens do? Not really much of anything. They brought back Ben Cleveland on a deal with no guarantees and no bonuses. He was just there as a safe option just in case somebody who they drafted didn't work out or ended up getting hurt. Like Emory Jones, he had to have the offseason shoulder surgery. And then they just stuck where they were at. They had Andrew Voorhees take over again at left guard. They stuck with Daniel Falele at right guard. They did bring back Ronnie Stanley, and obviously Tyler Linderbaum and Roger Rosengarten are still under contract. So that was the offensive line. A lot of Ravens fans were like, hey, I think we still need to bring in somebody. I think we should still try to get even better. Ravens said, no, we're good. And weeks 1 through 4, Lamar Jackson has got beat up big time. Starting in week 1, Ed Oliver just beat him up bad. Had that nasty hit on him, had the sacks, and he was knocking everybody out that game. But then in the Browns game, even in the win, Lamar got beat up. In the Detroit Lions game, 30 pressures and 7 sacks. It was just insane to see. And then, of course, in the Chiefs game, it continued. So the people at the end of the bar, they ended up being 1,000,000% right. So a change at the offensive line. I think that could possibly happen if the Baltimore Ravens, whether it's Cooper Rush, whether it's Tyler Huntley, whoever's back there, if they see it then, it might wake them up. They say, oh, wait a minute. Maybe our offensive line isn't that good. Maybe we need to make some changes on the offensive line. Maybe we need to make some improvements on the offensive line. There's obviously so much you can do at this point of the season, but you do have options. Corey Bullock is an option. Ben Cleveland, he is an option. But just to try something to get better protection for not only your quarterback, but for your entire team. Now, speaking of somebody else who needs the offensive line in order to produce, Derrick Henry. We've been asking for change with Derrick Henry because he just simply has not been involved. The Baltimore Ravens, they take him out of the game before any opposing team's defenses do. So this is yet another opportunity for change there because You're not going to be wanting Cooper Rush or Tyler Huntley to throw 25, 30, 35 times in a game. No, you're going to want to rely on that run game from Derrick Henry. I mean, that's what you brought him in for, isn't it? Not to just be a cheerleader, not to just be on a sideline hoping for the best for the team, but you want Derrick Henry to be out there and be making plays. So this is the perfect opportunity to get him going because you're going to need him now more than ever. Also, Keaton Mitchell. I know the Baltimore Ravens, John Harbaugh, you don't like talking about it, but this is another opportunity. Hey, you lost your biggest weapon on the team in Lamar Jackson. So now you need to have all hands on deck, all weapons fully loaded. You need to have Keaton Mitchell out there on the field because he is a big play just waiting to happen. Waiting. So it's important that he's active. So there could be change with that as well. Todd Monken, the situational play calling has been horrid. It's been terrible. It's been bad. But guess what? Now you ain't got Lamar Jackson for who knows how long. So your situational play calling, you have no choice but to improve, but to get it right, but to get it better. And then on defense, Zach Orr, he's in a tough spot. He's in a really, really tough spot. Matabike out. Roquan Smith out. Broderick Washington out. Travis Jones, hopefully he'll be back. But Marlon Humphrey out. Nate Wiggins, we ain't got no status on him yet. We still waiting that. But a lot of his guys are out. But even still, when a lot of those guys were in, the defense has still looked bad. But now, I'm sure you're feeling a lot of pressure. Even though John Harbaugh ain't come out and say it. John Harbaugh publicly backed Zach Orr. He said, oh no, the defense, they not far off. Even though this defense is far than far off. But Zach Orr, he got to tighten up. Don't be dropping back Adafe away and Mike Green in the coverage. Stop playing these cornerbacks 20 yards off the receivers. The defense got to tighten up because now you're going to be relied on more than you ever have been because, again, you ain't got no Lamar Jackson out there. So Zach Orr's got to tighten up. But then the biggest change that a lot of us as Ravens fans have been looking at, and the national media has been looking at it more now than ever, is John Harbaugh. A lot of people feel like Harbaugh, he is on a hot seat right now, especially because of how he was getting on Todd Monken the other day in the presser. John Harbaugh was letting Todd Monken have it. He was calling him out, throwing him under the bus. I said, oh my goodness. And it seemed like John Harbaugh was even driving the bus that he was throwing Todd Monken under. It was so bad. It was like, whoa, have we ever seen John Harbaugh do this? Well, we have seen him deflect to coordinators in the past, but how he was going in on Todd Monken, I said, oh my goodness, what is up with that? But a lot of Ravens fans, they alluded to maybe he is actually feeling some pressure. Maybe Steve Bisciotti is telling him like, hey, Harbaugh, you need to get this thing right. And a lot of Ravens fans have been talking about, too, the excuses. They say, oh, Harbaugh, he's probably going to have the injury excuse. I don't think he should. I don't think he deserves to have that as an excuse. It is valid on the defensive side, but you ain't have injuries last year. You ain't have any injuries the year before that. So this team has been very, very healthy, but they still been coming up short. So maybe, just maybe, Harbaugh is feeling that heat. So with John Harbaugh, obviously he ain't going nowhere, at least during this season. So change has to come from him. The situational coaching has to be better. If he's going to come out here and say, hey, we had a game plan that we had again for our offense and we didn't stick to it, I don't like that. That's on us as coaches. If you didn't like that, you should have said something during the game, not after the game in a presser, not a day after the game in that presser either. You should have handled that right then and right there, but you didn't. But now, hey, your team's sitting at 1-3. So many people are saying the season is over, the season is lost, that's a wrap, the Ravens are done. I don't think that they are, and I don't think that they need to be, and I don't think that they should be. They don't need to tank, in my opinion. You should still fight for this season. I don't want the Ravens to go out like a bunch of losers, because they're not. They shouldn't be. So you need to try to salvage the season. So John Harbaugh, you know, we know how you do when your back's all the way against the wall. We know how you do when that pressure is all the way up. So John Harbaugh needs to be extra on point with his coaching, extra on point with his clock management, extra on point with any challenge. I know there ain't been no challenges so far this yet, but you never know when he could pull out that red flag. Needs to be extra on point just with the discipline of this football team because it's been lacking like crazy. So with Lamar Jackson being out, it does suck. We don't like it at all. And there is nothing good about Lamar Jackson being hurt. There's nothing good about Lamar Jackson missing games because we know how important Lamar Jackson is to these Baltimore Ravens. But The one thing that can possibly come from Lamar Jackson being out for whoever knows how long it will be positive change by this Baltimore Ravens team. Now that that's out the way, let's get into some questions from Team Keep It Clean. First one came from my guy, Kade. He said, what's up, Ingraven? Hey, what's up, Kade? I hope the family's doing well and life has been treating you great. Well, life has been great. Minus being a Ravens fan. It's a little rough right now, but everything is good. I appreciate you. Been watching videos since 2019, and it's crazy to see how great you've been grinding out as my main source for Ravens content through the years. You got to host a celebration at 100K soon. That would be great. Who knows when that will happen, but I appreciate it. He said, the narrative has been universal this season. There's no leadership in the locker room, and maybe we are a little spoiled as Baltimore Ravens fans at times, but we're passionate about a team that has proven that they had the potential to win and take it all the way. With that said, it felt the door was knocking for Harbaugh's exit back in 2016 at the end of the Flacco era. His time ran thin, and we saw mistake after mistake being made with this organization. Jackson and Roman single-handedly saved Harbaugh's career here in Baltimore. I don't want to join the stigma of negative attitude as we are extremely early in the season, but it seems like it's 2020 all over again. There's no accountability and excuses to be playing this poorly, from play calling to players' actions. What truly happened with us this season? Film says one part, but as fans, we cannot give up hope on this team. Even if we end the season 5-11 to 14-3, I've never seen the fan base so eager to just jump ship, including myself. I think we've just grown tired of the same problems, false promises, and disappointment. That's it. You said it yourself. You just answered your own question. It ain't about jumping ship. It ain't about being negative. It's just people are tired of the same problems, false promises, and disappointment. There it goes. You summed it up right there. Anyway, he said, I want to cheer for this team, but the changes must be made, whether EDC and Harbaugh are neighbors or not. Ooh, see, he just talked about change. We just talked about change. That boy's on point. Anyway, he said, it starts from the coaching down to the players. We can be better, but that starts one game at a time. If we hit midseason, do we start to trade off all our final year contracted players for draft picks? Does Andrews, Oweh, Humphrey, and Roquan get placed on the trade block? I think it would depend on how we doing. If there's absolutely no hope, then, but if there is, then no. He said only one team in the Super Bowl era has won it after starting 1-3, and that was the 2001 Patriots. We are lucky to get a wild card spot in this position now. Changes need to happen immediately if we want a chance. Injuries or not, the champions find a way to win it all, even with Nick Foles. And he said, best wishes, brother. Thank you. New coach for the Ravens. Next question came from Crystal. She said, hey, Ingraven, I've been watching you the last 2 years. I've commented on some videos, but this is my first time sending in a question. Appreciate that, Crystal. Thank you. She said, last year, there were some really good coaching prospects. This year, the options may be limited. Who do you think will make an ideal coach for the Ravens? Mike McDonald. But I have no clue right now. I haven't thought that far, but I have no clue right now. Should I have been screaming that Harbs ain't it for the last 5 years? Harbs is, at best, a subpar coach who inherited players who are generational talents. Any achievement the team has had is despite him, not because of him. Anyway, I heard someone suggest that Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, will make a good head coach for the Ravens. He's young, smart, and knows how to elevate a dual-threat quarterback. What do you think? Joe Brady for the Bills. I really don't know right now. Doesn't really sound too appealing to me, but maybe because they're affiliated with the Bills, but I don't know, because anyway, she said, I really appreciate you for keeping it clean. You're a real joy. Wishing you all the light that you bring to others. Hey, Krista, I really appreciate that. I'm sorry I couldn't think of anybody off the top of my head to be a head coach for the Baltimore Ravens right here, right now, because I just feel like where we're at in the season, yeah, we do want Harbaugh to go ahead and move on because it's frustrating. It's a lot of the same old stuff. But at the same time, I want this team to turn it around and reach the ultimate success. And then I will, hey, if Harbaugh to say, you know what? I got 2 Super Bowls. I'm retiring now. Let me give it to somebody else. Hey, no problem. Next question came from my guy Sergio. He said, decisions. What's up, Ingraven, the team? Keep it clean. Like many fans, I'm frustrated with how the season is going. A lot of us feel alienated because the team we pour our hard-earned money and valuable time into doesn't always seem to show that same love and care back to the fan base. I've been a Ravens fan since I was 8 years old, back to 2003. So I know all too well how dismissive and tone-deaf the organization can feel at times. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you would do if you were the owner of the Baltimore Ravens in the following scenarios. For context, the Ravens have 2 games left before the bye, both at home. Scenario number 1, Ravens win both games and head into the bye at 3-3. It depends on how they won. It depends on how the offense did, how the defense did. But yeah, everybody's skating on thin ice if I'm the owner. But if they won these next 2 games, especially with Lamar out, and now he did send this before it was official that Lamar would be out for these next 2 games, if he even is. That's not even official yet. But it all just depends on how. And he also said scenario 2, if Ravens lose both games and head into the bye at 1-5. That would be something. He said, what would you do in either situation? Fire some or all of the coaches? See, that's the tricky part about it, because if you fire everybody, then basically you're saying we're done. That's it. And that's what's so tricky right now. And that's why, but at the same time, you are saying too, like, nah, I'm not standing for it. I'm done. But if you fire everybody, say for instance, you fire the head coach, you fire the offense and defensive coordinator, who's left? And how's everybody, what's the morale with the coaches? And do they really feel like, hey, am I coaching to actually have longevity, or am I just here for a quick little run and just to get through the season and just get it over with? And that whole vibe could seep through the entire locker room, the whole staff, and all of that. So that's something to think about. He also said, would you cut, trade, and bench players, tank and aim for a draft pick, or try to salvage the season and hope for help around the league to sneak into the playoffs? I'm still trying. I really am. I am. And this is why with the Baltimore Ravens, the only thing that I could possibly maybe see them doing would be if they fired Zach Orr. Again, I don't think that's a needle mover for the team. But I think the biggest needle move for the team is what we talked about early on in the video, just them changes being made. And hopefully with Lamar Jackson being out, if he even is out, but if he is out, hopefully they will see, like, hold up, wait a minute. We can be a lot better with these simple fixes. But that's something that a lot of us have been saying for years. And they ain't been doing it for years, so ain't really got that much confidence in him, but we'll see. Anyway, he said the Texans are 1-3 heading into next week, while the Rams are 3-1 and will face the Ravens with a winning record no matter what happens. Realistically, if the Ravens split and go into the bye week at 2-4, ownership probably treats it the same as 3-3. That's why I'm framing the extremes. Oh boy, I like you, boy. We just everything we just talking about. Boy, we on the same page, my friend. He said, personally, I've always had love for guys like Harbaugh and Zoe, but I think it might finally be time for a reset. Stay safe and enjoy the Super Bowl halftime show. Oh, that's why he said much love from proud Puerto Rican. Shout out to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny, that's my guy, man. Bad Bunny, that's my guy. I don't be knowing what he be saying in them songs, but all his songs be so fun, man. I love them. If not now, then when? Next question came from my guy, Jameson. The drink, Jameson? But anyway, he said, hello, Ingraven. Hope all is well with you and the family. As always, I just wanted to start by saying thank you for all that you do. Your hard work doesn't go unappreciated, and despite a so far poor season, your content remains top tier. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Jameson. Appreciate it a lot, man. He said also being able to listen to your live stream instead of Tony Romo is a blessing. I don't know about all that, but I appreciate that. He said, now on to my question. For the year as Ravens fans, when it comes to the Super Bowl, we have held the ideology of if not now, then when. I believe we've now reached that same exact point with his coaching staff, whether it's Harbaugh or I can't call whose fault it is. Oh, I'll give you one, both. He said, I don't know the ins and outs of football well enough. This leads me to ask, if now is not the time to change something beyond the players on the roster, then when will it be? Yeah, again, after the season. They could do it. They can fire an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They can fire a coordinator, but for the head coach, I don't think that they would do that until after the season. Or if it got to the point where the season was officially done and they were not making playoffs, then I could see it. That's the only scenario that I could see it happen during the season, because you would be done, and then your search would be underway at that point. But then at the same time, if you fired him, he could go join somebody else's staff. Like, it's like releasing a player. If you release a player, they could go sign with somebody else. But if you fired him, I mean, he's going to do that anyway. Whether you did it in the offseason, whether you did it in the regular season, it's going to happen anyway. So, I mean, it wouldn't really matter at that point anyway. It would have no impact if the Baltimore Ravens were out of the playoffs. He said, to add just another layer to that, for the fans or people in the organization who believe Harbaugh is not and has not been at fault, then what needs to happen for their opinions to change? And as always, keep up the great work. He said, hashtag best football content creator and hashtag go Ravens. Appreciate you, Jameson. Next question came from my guy John from Hawaii. He said, hope you and your family are well. I thought I'd share that my 40-year-old girlfriend, who is from another country and English is her second language and who has never seen a football game before and just till a few weeks ago was watching the Ravens play the Chiefs with me. And in the second quarter, she leaned over to me and asked, why aren't the Ravens players trying hard? Did I miss something? Is that normal? For the record, 3 weeks ago, she didn't even know what a quarterback or a touchdown was, yet she was able to pick up that our team was phoning it in. Ooh, boy. That says a lot right there. That's powerful. And that shows that, again, that Lamar and the team, and I hope nobody got it twisted. I don't think Lamar Jackson quit on the Ravens. I just think he is just done with the coaching staff. I think he just checked out from this coaching staff. And all of that stuff that we were talking about at the top of this video, and just my opinion, but I just think he just tired of it, man. Not quitting on the team, not quitting or anything like that, but I think he just tired of it, really, man. But anyway, for her to see that, and she ain't know nothing about football, barely a month, yeah, that says a lot, man. for her to be able to see that. He said, also, the first time Lamar threw his helmet down, she said, is he going to quit? I just smiled and said, no. That's just what football players do sometimes when they get upset. Then the second time he tossed his helmet, she asked, are you sure he's not going to quit? He looks like my teenage son when he's about to give up. I said again, no, that's Lamar Jackson. He's one of the best players in the NFL. He doesn't just give up. And boy, did I look dumb when all of a sudden Lamar's on the bench. Again, my girlfriend, who was also a nurse, said, see, he gave up. He doesn't look injured at all. This made me realize that I was a little blinded by Lamar's past success and couldn't see what was clear to an outsider. Anyway, the point of my story is to say it doesn't take a professional NFL analyst to see that something is rotten in Owing Mills, and I'm worried that there may be a rift widening between Lamar, EDC, Monken, and or Harbaugh. Do you think this is a sign of disagreements within the organization? And he said, no one seems to be on the same page. Yeah, see, I agree with that part. That he quit? No, I don't agree with that part, but he said that there seems like there's something brewing, some signs of disagreement. I do agree right there wholeheartedly. And he said, like most of the playmakers on the Ravens defense, I'm out. Next question came from my guy, Nigel. He said, I know you seen the tweet that I tagged you, and I say that because that's the main reason Harvey needs to be fired. And secondly, I don't even remember what it is. Like, you asking somebody with a real bad memory to remember something like that. I don't remember what it is. I wish you would have refreshed me on what the tweet was, but it's all good. He said, I say that because the main reason Harvey needs to be fired. And secondly, the Ravens is the good game for every NFL team because when they see the tape, they're like, oh my, we can do whatever we want. Yeah, that's true. The Ravens are a come-up game right now for the NFL. So hopefully it's not like that for the Texans, but we'll see. He said, EDC, Ozzy, Bashadi, y'all on the clock. I'm out. Whew. Disappointment. Next question came from my guy, Ryan. He said, Ingraven, this is my first message. And first off, see, this Ravens, y'all got so many people upset that, like, I ain't got no problem with Team Keep It Clean ever sending in questions. But when we got a lot of first-timers, y'all making people say, hey, I got to send my question in now because these Ravens, ooh, they got me heated. But anyway, get back to it. He said, and first off, I want to say that I appreciate everything you do and that watching you over the years has been a pleasure. I appreciate you, Ryan. Thank you. He said, regardless of everything that has happened, I still have faith in this team, and I hope that once we get everyone back, we can turn it around and make a deep playoff run, maybe even the Super Bowl, LOL. I have so much love for this team, and even after all the playoff heartbreak, I still find myself getting excited for this year, thinking this might finally be the time Lamar gets his ring, and that all the love we have shown for this team finally pays off. My question to you is, I like that. I love that as a matter of fact. I think all of us were feeling the same way. Like we still get excited, even though people would be like, "Oh man, I ain't watching Ravens no more." They still be like, so something comes up with the Ravens, they say, "Oh, no, well, what happened now? What was that?" So it's all good though. He said, "My question to you is, do you believe that once everyone is healthy, well, that like we'll never have? It's impossible now because we can't get everybody back, but." So I would say once most people are back healthy. But anyway, he said, do you think we have a chance of finally making it to the Super Bowl this year? If you got Lamar Jackson, you always got a chance, in my opinion. You got Lamar, you always got a chance. So once Lamar gets back out there, Ravens will be right back to just being right again. Once Lamar, and he's a healthy Lamar too. That would be much better too. And he said, or are we too far gone and we need a significant change such as firing Harbaugh to get it done? Two things can be true. But no, I think when Lamar comes back, they're going to have a shot. They really going to have a shot. But so much will be on everybody. Obviously on coaching, on the players and the personnel, on execution. It'll be on everybody. And it's important from the top down that they get it right. Because now sitting at 1-3, possibly 1-4, possibly 1-5, but also possibly 3-3 going into the bye. We'll see. But everything, you don't have much room for error at all, especially in the AFC. You got the Chiefs, you got the Chargers who've been killing it, you got the Bills with this super easy schedule, even though they whooped us. You got, who else in the AFC? You got the Steelers, they rolling right now. And usually they start off the seasons pretty high and then they come crashing down at the end, but still. And then there's more teams that I can't think of off the top of my head right now, but you got plenty of competition that you're going up against. So, yeah, you got to tighten up for sure. Anyway, he said, again, thanks for everything, Ingraven, and much love. Hey, appreciate that, Ryan. Next question came from my guy, Desmond. He said, hey, Ingraven, I haven't sent a message in a long time, but I had to take a break from this game. It's about 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and we are getting beat like we stole something. A change has to be made ASAP. Derrick Henry had 4 touches at the half. We always get away from the run when we play good teams. Bingo. Every time. It never fails, man. Ravens are so consistent and notorious for doing that. It's really annoying. Anyway, he said the fact that we had several delay of game penalties back-to-back is madness. Harb's got to help Lamar out. The philosophy of this team has to change. Maybe Harbs needs to listen to the people at the end of the ball. I have been saying it for the last 3 years. Harb's time is up. Well, now I'm yelling it. We are making a struggling Chiefs team look like world beaters. Oh, yeah. We rejuvenated that Chiefs team for sure. He said our defense can't stop nobody and our offense is just as predictable as Harb said Keaton Mitchell plays are. I may be wrong, but it seems like the team has mentally checked out on Harbs and the Ravens way. He gets it. he's seeing a lot of what I'm seeing too. I know a lot of y'all saw the same thing too, but hey, we'll see. He said the whole team has hamstring injuries heading into the fourth quarter. If they are really hurt, I send my well wishes, but seem like they can't face this embarrassment of a loss. I can't even read this embarrassment of a loss. He said, sincerely, a spoiled Ravens fan. But then he sent another message. He said, sorry for the second message, but I have to say this: the feeling is Orr will be the sacrificial lamb, and that's a part of what makes me sick to my stomach. If EDC can't make the decision to fire Hawes, maybe he needs to go too. I would hate for that to happen. It ain't EDC's decision to make. That's all Steve Bisciotti, baby. Anyway, he said, but we have been through several offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, and only one person remains. Sad to say, but we are wasting the greatness of Lamar Jackson, and we won't win nothing under John Harbaugh. Just like half of the Flock Nation, as long as Harbaugh is here, I'm out. The blame game. Next question came from my guy, Eijon. He said, hello, Ingraven Ravens fans worldwide. West Coast Raven here. I hope all is well. Oh, everything is great, my friend. He said, with so much blame to go around, who do you blame the most for our last-ranked defense between the players, coaching staff, or EDC? Coaching staff, for sure. Coaching staff, EDC, and then the players. Coaching staff, because of a lot of stuff starts before the plays even happen. You see these cornerbacks, they playing so far back away from the receivers like they scared. You see outside linebacker, Dafe Wade, Mike Green, Tavius Robinson. You see these boys dropping back in coverage, and it's like, hold up, what is going on here? What is happening? So it just seems like they got the defense playing scared before the ball is even snapped. And then we got then EDC, the way that this team was built. They got a lot of nice players, but as far as edge guys, and you know what, they tried. I can't say that he did a bad job for edge. It just hasn't been working out thus far. Dafe Wade going into the season, I mean, I think he was banking off of last season too. Like, hey, Dafe Wade just got 10 sacks last year. He improved. Calvin Noy, he got 10 or 12 sacks last year. I forgot how many he had. And then they drafted Mike Green. He's supposed to be a first-round pick, but then he dropped. They got him in the second round. So they're thinking, okay, we're gonna be straight there. We got some guys, and we still got David Jabo in the reserve. We got Adisa Isaac. We'll see what happens with him. But I still wanted them to get Jadeveon Clowney, but. Then on our defensive line, you got Nnamdi Madubuike, Travis Jones, Broderick Washington. They brought in John Jenkins. I'm thinking, okay, the depth is looking nice, but then everything just started falling apart. But then the players, too, with the missed tackles, sometimes it looks like low effort and just getting bullied sometimes, man. It's just been a mix of everything. Anyway, continuing, he says, starting with EDC, he used 11 draft picks and selected one defensive lineman in the 6th round. He didn't bring back Calais Campbell, Matt Judon, or Jadeveon Clowney. Zach Orr clearly didn't learn anything from his slow start last season and still sending blitzes at the wrong time. And even Michael Pierce recently said they're using the wrong personnel packages and something like that. And John Harbaugh, LOL, we know he's trying to get his 17th blown lead to 18 as fast as he can. All right, now, Eijon, what are we doing, man? He said, ultimately, the players are getting paid millions to play, and they're simply not showing enough effort or pride in playing in the game. Oh, my goodness. I was just talking about effort. Anyway, he said, I can't blame the highest scoring offense, but I will say untimely turnovers or going 3 and out doesn't help a tired defense. Well, yeah, I think we'd all agree with you right there. This question came from my guy, TJ. He said, this is just becoming sickening. Offensively and defensively, something has to change, man. It's past time to fire Zach, or Harbaugh should have been gone because he's just there and consistently keeps losing to Andy Reid on purpose. I'm tired of this, man. I can't keep rooting for my favorite team if this doesn't change. He said, what is Todd Monken calling on offense, and why isn't Derrick Henry on the field? Like, come on, man, this is just sickening. Oh, I get you with that. Why isn't Derrick Henry on the field? The situational play calling, just him being removed from the game. Again, so much of these things start before the play is even snapped. Before the ball is snapped on the play, it's already a lot of issues with the Baltimore Ravens. He also said, ain't nothing special about Justice Hill, and he isn't doing anything spectacular. Hold on, you ain't see my guy's 71-yard touchdown run? I can't let you talk about my guy Justice Hill like that. That's my guy. But Keaton Mitchell nice too, so he need to be out there as well. Anyway, he said for them not to be playing Keaton Mitchell, like, come on, this is garbage Harbaugh got going on. It's not making no sense to me at all. So yeah, that last part that you said, it ain't making no sense. I agree. Next question came from my guy Israel. He said, hope all is well with everyone. I'm sending this right after the second half score by the Chiefs. Man, if you watch our defensive line, we have no moves. We have no bull rush ever. We don't cross, chop, spin, pull, swim, jab, chop the hands, anything. Tickle the pits, for God's sake. He said, I'm so disappointed with my team, man. I feel the only thing good on this team is our wide receiver room. Everything else, start over. I don't know why Lamar playing like this year. I guess my question is, what will be the first position you would want to work on? It's got to be between offensive line and defensive line. One of those two. Obviously both, but you said the first position. Ooh, man. I'll probably go offensive line. He said, mine is a D-line. I feel offensive line, you can scheme guys open, quick slants, bubble swings by the running backs. D-line, there's no hiding. Shaking my head. Should I start putting in applications to other teams? Shaking my head. I have no exit rhyme like the flock usually do. Just so upset. Have a blessed one, everyone. Peace, love, and happiness. And he said he sent this right after the second half score by the Chiefs. So he sent this early in the third quarter. So you know he was heated. Next question came from my guy J.O. He said, "Hey, Ingraven, what's up, Flock Nation? What is going on with this team? I just literally watched Lamar Jackson quit on this team, and I don't blame the man. Well, sort of. You don't ever give up on the guys that are on your team, but sometimes when you need to make a big statement, do I blame him? Not one single bit. We are wasting one more Lamar Jackson year, period. Like we always say, we know there's not going to be any change, but now I pray there is. I completely shut off the TV. I'm sick of seeing this same show over and over again. This hurts. I just hope and don't know what to say anymore. This team is ripping my heart out and throwing it on the floor. God bless you, Ingraven, your son, your daughter, your wife. We need to learn to love each other more, regardless of the message I just sent." Okay, that was all over the place, just like the Baltimore Ravens. But I get you. It was rough. And again, Lamar Jackson, he didn't quit. But again, I think he's just very, very frustrated with everything that's been happening and how it's been happening, and that has been happening for so long. The Baltimore Ravens have continued to be repeat offenders in so many different ways. Again, I keep saying it. I know y'all tired of hearing me saying it, but so much of what the Ravens do wrong, in my opinion, it starts before the ball is even snapped. So again, with Lamar Jackson, he ain't quit, again, because this hamstring injury, it was a lot worse than I thought it was. Because I didn't really think it was anything serious during the game and whatnot. And right after the game, I still didn't think it was anything serious. But then the reports came out, and then we saw the video of him like limping after the game and whatnot. And now he could possibly be out this week and then maybe 2 or even 3 weeks. So we'll see. So it is more serious than I thought. So again, I did apologize for that, but I apologize again. I was completely wrong, and that's on me, my fault, and my apologies for that. But he didn't quit on the team. But again, this, like we talked about at the top of this video, things need to change. And hopefully, since they don't have Lamar now, things will.